That should keep me in.
All right. My dad's first ride in the Turbo Miata. We'll see if it convinces him to turbo the Exoset. That's the goal. Someday.
Could never have too much power. Oh man, I don't know. I don't like this.
Wasn't cheap, but
yeah,
it was worth
it.
What's up, guys? It's Still in Full. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to build some tie rods for the Miata. Since I've bought it a little over a year ago, I've snapped 2 different tie rods like twigs. So we're going to beef them up, use some Heim joints, get some big, massive metal in there, and hopefully never break it again. Knock on wood. These little things just don't hold up to anything. One broke and I got stranded 3 hours from my house. Then the other one broke in the middle of a race and I couldn't finish and I was really bummed. So here's my plan. I'm gonna take this broken end with the ball joint. I couldn't find just big beefy ball joints that were the right threads for the Miata. So this will thread into the steering rack, cut some threads with a die into here, drill and tap this end of this massive piece. Then we will tap the other with a Heim for the knuckle and call it a tie rod. That is gonna be wild. This thing, it's aluminum, but it's still really beefy, really heavy. We'll see if it goes according to plan. It never does. So we're trying to figure out the right length. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because there'll be some adjustments. We just don't want to make it too long. So we've got a flaw in the plan already. I did not realize that these ball joints, this right here, is tapered. So if I use this non-tapered bolt in the Heim, it just will wiggle all over the place and be terrible. So we're gonna have to stick with using these. Hopefully it is strong enough. But then we gotta figure out, this is a female thread versus I anticipated using a male on the Heim. Of course, 2 seconds in and already making mistakes. This is car building though. This is what it's real life. I don't know what I'm doing at all.
Go ahead and stop it.
Is it just too hard of steel, you think?
It started to work. See if you can hold that while I try to just do it manually. 50,000 turning center and we're using it as a vise.
Whatever it takes, I guess.
There it is.
Nice.
It's got threads.
Yeah. So we figure out how long we need to make the actual metal piece that our new ball joint end will thread into, and then cut threads to go into the outer tie rod.
We want to thread this in all the way so it's stronger over here. So we're going to cut this off here.
This is why they were breaking. They were all snapping at these tiny threads. It's just like not even as thick as a pinky. This is 5/8 compared to whatever that is. Much, much bigger. This will be way stronger. We got 2 threaded stubby ball joint steering rack things, 2 outer tie rod ends. Now to do some machining for the middle.
Yeah, I think this is mild steel. I don't think it's super strong. Inch and 3/16. Stainless. This is definitely a lot stronger. Yeah, we can go ahead and use this. Just proving out the program.
We gotta test it before we actually cut. Measure twice, cut once.
Well, that's weird. It feels like it fits perfectly the first time through. It's quite snug.
Halfway, I guess. We got one end threaded. Now we just need this end.
Yeah, that's going to be the trick with that tap. That's what I'm worried about.
I bought the wrong tap. It doesn't have any way to start it. So 50-50 if it'll work or not.
We might be better off programming it to bore it and thread it.
We're going to test it on aluminum first because that's easier.
That one's a boring bar. We'll drill it, but then to get it to the exact size.
So the tools are set. Now the machine is running through a practice round away from the part just in case there's an error and we don't want to damage anything. but it looks good so far. So the test was successful and we're going for it?
Yeah, and if you don't hear any loud crunches, it's staying successful.
All right, let's see if it worked.
It feels pretty loose and strange. It might just be the beginning. It's pretty darn good. Well, probably the first thread's on here.
All right, time to move on to the steel. Here goes nothing. We're about to try it for real.
Never seen that before in drilling code.
Oh no, problems already. So it was programmed to be off-center?
It didn't have any X move in it. So far, so good? Yep. It gets tight, but we were going deeper with a hand tap anyhow.
So it worked, it just did it in a weird way that was unexpected and different from the aluminum. The tap that I bought is...
It's more of a bottoming tap.
So it'll be good for right now because the machine can only tap so far, so this will tap farther down, which we need. The issue was you can't really start tapping with it. You can only finish tapping. So that'll come in handy right now. Looks pretty good to me. This is the idea. We'll see if it works, hopefully. Looks really good. Definitely thicker than it was originally. All right, the real moment of truth.
Definitely in the zone. Might be perfect.
So it works good on the passenger side, but the driver's side seems like it's 2 inches too short, which doesn't make any sense unless something's really, really bent. So we've got the steering rack even. I think it's about good.
It's definitely 2 inches different.
Okay, so somehow the driver's side is 2 inches longer than the passenger side. It has to be bent that much somewhere, because when you buy the tie rods, they're the same length. Like, it doesn't matter left or right. So they would have to be the same from the factory. So somehow we have 2 inches of bentness. And that's why it turns right really sharp and barely turns left at all. Like, I can't do a U-turn in 3 lanes. So it turns out the die that I chose to cut these threads was 5/8 24, which doesn't exist in real life. The only jam nut I could find was a specialty one for $30 a piece, and I needed 2. So we made custom ones. That's the final piece of the puzzle. Let's put one side together. Let's get this mounted up for the final time. This has gone a little bit more out of hand than I anticipated, but as long as it works, it'll be worth it. All right, I think we got one in there. Check it out. It looks freaking awesome. That's pretty straight. I mean, we'll dial it in better later, but we got that on there. This will slide up once I confirm on the other side, but our nuts work perfect. Ball joints are looking good. Hopefully, I'll never get stranded because of a broken tie rod again. Also, I'm going to keep the old ones as spares just in case. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but this driver's side that we needed to make longer is actually a little bit too long. It's kind of like towed out, I think is the right word for it. So we're gonna have to shorten it, but it's dark and cold, so we'll have to come back tomorrow. It does work properly though, so that's a win. We're almost there. Day 3 of the tie rod saga. We have shortened it about 1/2 inch. Let's see if it works. Final fitting. Hopefully, please work. I think we finally did it. After 3 days, countless hours, all thanks to my dad, we are finally done. Ready to lower it down and hopefully go for a test drive. So pumped how it turned out. Like, that is ridiculously solid. It was much more work than I anticipated. Finally, time to fire it up and go for a drive. We can't really send it because our control arm is broken. I will admit it is not the cleanest of cold starts. All right, first drive with the brand new tie rods. Oh my gosh, it's bright. It handles better for sure. Now at least everything is even. Before it would turn right really sharp, but not turn left hardly at all. So at least that is fixed from as far as I can tell. It's still very weird that it would be 1.5 inches off. I don't know what caused that, but whatever. Okay, it's a little bright. I'm pumped. I really hope they're as strong as I think they are.